Dean Student Affairs, other speakers here present, TEDx community, good day to you all. It is indeed my singular honor and privilege to be here because as a child born to an astute academician and into a family that prioritizes education more than anything else, my curiosity for education and answering questions regarding the circumstances around our educational system started a long time ago. However, when I joined the university community and interacted with different students across different faculties, so many prominent professors organized and attended different workshops, seminars, and in fact even international conferences, my curiosity increases day by day. But this is the right opportunity to discuss about the idea born out of my curiosity about the educational system in northeastern Nigeria. But then, I would like to start by reminding us that the history of education in northeastern Nigeria can be categorized into three phases: the pre-Boko Haram stage, the Boko Haram stage, and the post-Boko Haram stage, which is the recovery or transition stage. Truly, we've witnessed the transition from the time when schools were built to now, when beautiful and aesthetic schools were strategically built. We've witnessed the transition from when a student hides his identity to save his life to now, when more universities are being introduced in the region and competition into these universities are always high. However, is that enough? Are we really there? Absolutely no. Because according to Tupe Sunday statistics recently released, while states like Imo are having just 5.1% of children out of school, and even Anambra taking the lead with only 2.9% of out-of-school children, my dear Borno State is struggling with a disturbing 54.2% out-of-school children. That indeed is a burden which the future cannot withstand. However, since this is a TEDx event, I will really enjoy discussing more of the solutions rather than the problems. I believe that the way out of the current educational system with a high number of out-of-school children include this: that the government should focus on building more and more schools in the rural areas, not just the cities. Because even when the cities like Maiduguri are beautifully decorated with beautiful schools, some rural areas are having few to no schools, while the competition there is very less. They only have one alternative, which is the public school. So in order to have more opportunity to accommodate more children into school, there is need for the government to focus more on building schools at the rural areas. But apart from that, building schools are not enough. How about the quality of education rendered in that schools? And to have quality education, so many things need to be on stage. Good teachers, good equipment, good environment. But I believe that our problem, the problem of our public schools, is not lacking good teachers. Rather, it's the problem of poor supervision. Because the supervision in private schools is almost more than 10 times the supervision in public schools. And these give rooms for the teachers in public school to relax. And when they relax, the standard of education relaxes as well. So there's need to improve the supervision in all our public schools. And apart from that, evaluation of the investment of the government in education should be based on the number of students produced from public schools that favorably compete nationally at international exams, not just the number of schools. This, I believe, will truly help in not just reducing the number of out-of-school children, but also increasing the quality of education in our dear Northeast. However, it will be very unfair for me to come to this stage and talk about out-of-school children without talking about a specific aspect of them, that is the Almajiri child. And as a bona fide indigenous of Borno State, born and brought up in this state, born from grandparents that were perhaps grand professors in the Sangaya system, I believe that I am more than eligible to define who an Almajiri is. An Almajiri is an innocent child sent by his parents to acquire Quranic education. However, he became abandoned by the parents, by the community, and by the government of the state. So that child resorts to begging on the street in order to sustain his life. That is the real Almajiri I want to talk about. However, it is also good for you to know that there are other sorts of Almajiri which are not my topic of discussion. That is the commercial Almajiris, people that are not even enrolled into the Sangaya system, but decides to beg in order to sustain their life. About the real Almajiris, definitely they have their own good aspects. The Sangaya school has its own good aspect, which is the fact that moral education is learned. However, the problems and the negative aspect associated with the Sangaya system is something that can never be overemphasized. But what is the way out? In order to have the solution to the Almajiri problem, all hands should be on deck. The parents, the community, and indeed the government. The parents of these children sending their schools to Sangaya system should provide provisions for food and other necessary activities for their children. That being done, these offspring will have no need to go and beg. And the community, of course, because recently, as it is now, the community bear the burdens of the Almajiri children because they feed on the charity given to them by the community. So in order to put an end to the begging nature of our society caused by this system, the community should rather donate directly to the Sangaya system and not just to individual Almajiris. That will make the Sangaya system more organized, and that will reduce the number of children roaming the streets seeking for food. And then, the government, of course. If begging is allowed, definitely some people will have their way to beg. So in order to put an end to this, the government of the state should ban all necessary sorts of begging. And by so doing, other alternatives will be strengthened. That not enough, the government should also build some facilities to serve as hostels accommodation for this Almajiri child. And an important idea is that the government can industrialize the Sangaya system of education. For example, I have 50 Almajiris in my area. If all these Almajiri systems render laundry services, definitely they will cater for the need of my area with regards to laundry system. And that is applicable to almost everything. And by so doing, the Almajiris will be engaged, not having time to run and beg. They will also have enough to develop in order to feed themselves. And that being done with all hands on deck, we can redefine who an Almajiri is to somebody sent to acquire Islamic education that learn not just the Islamic education, but the Western education, and become a productive, reasonable member of the society. However, imagine if all the out-of-school children and the Almajiris are sent back to school. Is that enough? No, absolutely no. Because there are some two strategic and fundamental problems with even those in the school. Firstly, with regards to the students, and secondly, with regards to the system. We are living in such a period whereby answering the question why we study what is very difficult, even by some of our best hands. And I believe that productivity is intentional. We cannot be productive through education unless we know exactly what is that which we study and why we study it. And what is the way out of this? In order to have students that know what they study and why they study what they study, there is need for a vigorous orientation at even the secondary school, because it will amaze you to know that there was a month I went for an outreach in one of the secondary schools, giving them orientation on career guidance, and I asked them, what do they know about radiography? To my own surprise, one of the girls there said that a radiographer is a person that repairs radio. And definitely, that girl will seek admission into university in a year time or two. And absolutely, at the end, we will have people that don't know why they study, what they study. So in order to get rid of that, vigorous orientation needs to be made since at the secondary school. Then back to the system itself. We are living in such a period of time whereby some students spend 6 months doing their industrial training, but end up learning not even the basics. I personally met graduating students that cannot comprehend and explain even the meaning of the project topics, but they end up graduating. Meanwhile, I have in mind the saying that you can only force a horse to the river, but you cannot force it to drink water. But the problem with our system is that the system gives certificates of drinking water to these horses that refuse to drink water. So what is the way out in order to effect changes in our system? I believe that examinations in our system should be skills-based and not otherwise. That way, perhaps students will focus more on the knowledge and the skills rather than just coming and going back to their various houses. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that when the community, when each and every one of us and the government join hands, we have a chance of changing the narrative. We have a chance of prioritizing learning over just graduating. We have a chance of prioritizing knowledge over just college attendance. And most importantly, we have the chance of choosing productivity and not liability and skills rather than just degrees. However, when I talk about this topic, so many people say that the system is too bad to be revived again. But what I believe is that there was a time when everything is functional. There was a time when this Nigeria is the Nigeria of our choice, of our dream. Then suddenly, some human beings like us disrupt the system without the fiscal support of any devil. So definitely, if we want to revive the system back to normal, we can do so, even without the fiscal support of any angel. Thank you.